I must say this is Fyvush Finkel. I want you all to really enjoy a wonderful program done by a fine artist, and it's called David Gone By. And you're going to love it as well as I love it, and as well as all his listeners love it. Be well, everybody, and we should all meet on happy occasions. And if you want to do that, listen to David Gone By.
Shalom, shalom, everybody. Oh, what a wonderful, wonderful time we are going to have now, because I've got a special and terrific and almost sacred guest on the Dave's Gone By program. We're so happy to have in the neighborhood with us a legend of the Yiddish theater and also someone beloved from television and from nightclubs, Mr. Fyvush Finkel. Fyvush, how are you? God bless you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, you are so welcome, and it is so deserved. How are you? Well, you're in your 80-somethings, right? So
That's
how are you feeling? How are you?
Life begins at 80.
It sure does. Oh, and you're feeling good? Everything's in working order?
Thank God.
Oh, thank God. So what have you been up to the past couple of years?
Doing odds and ends, benefits here and there.
Good, good.
I got to keep occupied. Like a fighter goes to the gym.
Yes.
And he wants to be in trim all the time, so I do that.
And what would you say is it that keeps you going after all these years?
Oh, the public keeps me going.
The public, because it's the love. I mean, are you stopped on the street all the time because you're on television and people remember you?
Yes, thank God.
And are you nice about it? Do you sign autographs? Do you wave?
I'm delighted.
Oh, that's so good. So let's roll it back. Let's go back to the beginnings and your years in the Yiddish theater. How did you get into that? And was your family?
I was in the Yiddish theater since I was 9 years old.
Yes.
Till I was 43.
Oh.
That's quite a stretch.
Well,
I only had 2 years off because my voice was changing. So I had to wait till I get my mature voice.
So were your voice was cracking and you were playing the little boy?
Oh, I mean, I was a teenager, so I had to wait to get a second voice.
Do you remember your first role as a grown-up in the Yiddish theater?
Sure I do.
What was it?
It was in Pittsburgh.
Yes?
I played a comedic character there in a Yiddish theater in Pittsburgh.
And do you remember the show? Do you remember the character?
The show, that was 1940.
Well, all right. There were a lot of things to remember about that time. So,
yeah.
Did you have to go into the army after that? Were you part of the whole the World War II thing?
Well, I was rejected.
Oh, flat feet?
Flat feet, and I had 2 other brothers besides me, and they were, in the armed forces.
But I don't understand. Why did they say, oh, no?
Because of my feet.
Really? Oh, I was joking.
I couldn't march.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Everything was fine till they looked at my feet and they turned me down.
Well, thank God. And you're still with us after all these years.
Well, look, that's what it is.
And I have a very sad question to ask, but I have to ask this because I'm always curious of people who were around then, and especially since you were almost in the military, and you had brothers who were in the military. When did you really realize what was going on with the Jews in Germany? Was it in 1940?
I realized that around the late 30s. I had a feeling something was wrong, and then it came out.
But did you know how awful it was by 45 or like 3 years earlier?
Sure I did.
Everybody knew. So
everybody knew.
And so it wasn't even a shock when they realized that it was millions rather than a few thousand? Or was it?
I beg your pardon?
It didn't come as a shock to you when...
It's still a shock, even till today.
Did you lose family?
I lost my father's side and my mother's side, complete losses.
Gewalt. And then after the war, though, that was, I assume, when the Yiddish theater was pretty much petering out.
Oh, no. As a matter of fact, the year 1944 till about 1948, 49, they did very well.
Oh, that's wonderful.
People were seeking entertainment.
And there was still enough of an audience around that spoke the Yiddish.
Oh, certainly there was, even in the 50s. We had 3 theaters on 2nd Avenue. We had the Anderson Theater, which was once the Public Theater.
Right.
The 2nd Avenue Theater, and for vaudeville, the National Theater. And when you went to Clinton Street, the Clinton Theaters, 4.
So do you remember?
That went on till the 60s, the early 60s.
Did you ever act with people like Paul Muni and Jerome, was it Wiseman, Frederick Wiseman? Did you know these people?
I never met him, no.
Oh, okay.
I never met him. I met, naturally, Skolnick and Molly Pecan and Marie Schwartz.
Oh,
Samuel Goldenberg. I could give you a big list.
Well,
Paul Muni, when I came into the field, he was already in the American Theater.
True. Very true.
He was doing pictures already in the 30s.
Do you have any wonderful memories or stories or anecdotes about meeting Molly Pecan or working with Menashe?
Oh, yeah, they were great artists.
So, tell.
They were great artists. As a matter of fact, they had a load of class about them. And Schwartz was a first-class actor. He was the greatest Tevye of them all.
What made him such a wonderful Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof?
Because he was born to do it.
Well, so were you in a certain... You did Tevye for 4 years.
I did it, but I did it in English. I'm talking... when you see, when you buy the picture of Tevye with Marie Schwartz, you see how great he was.
And what would you say that you learned from watching or working with Menashe Skolnick? Because
I've never appeared with him.
Oh.
If I did, it must have been a vaudeville where he did his act and I introduced him, and that was the end of it. I was the master of ceremonies. Because
we have a copy of your compact disc, and on there you actually do the song that he was famous for.
Oh, yes.
Not on the top.
Oh, you got the CD.
Yes, it's delightful.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Nice to hear you say that.
Well,
my sons, Ian and Elliot, put in a lot of work in that record.
It's a very, very fun record, and you sound so alive. And it was only recorded, 2 years ago?
I recorded it when I was 80.
Oh. A spring chicken.
A spring chicken is right.
A young person. So what was it like working in the Catskills when you were doing all that?
Oh, my God. I worked in the Catskills from 1938 on.
Wow. So what was that like from those early years?
The Catskills, when I started, what's that click doing there?
I don't hear anything, sorry. Just keep going, it's wonderful.
The Catskills had over 400 hotels when I was with it.
Wow.
And I didn't count the bungalow colonies either, the Kochalanes.
Right, of course.
You know, and my God, I had a contract always to do 50 of them in the late 40s, the early 50s, and I didn't even scratch the surface. There were so many. And then when I went on tour with Fiddler on the Roof, I came back in 1970. They still had about 20 or 30 of them, and then it petered out. Now I don't know what you have.
Now it's a couple of
maybe you have 1 or 2 left or something.
But not the same.
It's not the same. No, it's not the same.
Now, you had so many different aspects to your career, and in a sense, they're comebacks. Because first you were doing the Yiddish theater, then you were doing the nightclubs, and then boom, television. How did that happen?
The television I got by a miracle.
What was the miracle?
The miracle was when they were looking to cast Picket Fences.
Yeah.
They looked high and low for someone to do that lawyer, Douglas Wambo.
Right.
And they weren't too happy with it. So David Kelly, God bless him, went to his house and had some friends, and he rented a movie called Q&A, which I did for Sidney Lumet.
That was Timothy Hutton in that, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I play a lawyer there. And when they saw me, they started laughing, and he said, there he is.
Oh, my goodness.
They called 20th Century Fox immediately.
Yeah.
And they knew my agent, and the deal was made in 1 hour.
That's amazing.
I was 70 when I got that.
And then since then, you did, of course, Picket Fences, then you did a Fantasy Island.
Oh, yes, Picket Fences. I did a revival of Fantasy Island, and then I did Boston Public for a while.
That's such a wonderful, like, as they say, a third act to the career, and now you're doing a fourth act. There's probably going to be a 12th act when you're 113.
Hey, Kanahara, I wish you were a real rabbi. I'd be blessed.
I'm real enough for these purposes, let me tell you. But let me ask you, all the years since you started in the Yiddish theater, did you ever do other work? Did you ever have to take a quote-unquote normal?
Certainly I did. I had to make a living.
So you what?
I did weddings, bar mitzvahs I performed. In those days, every affair had a comedian or a singer, things like that.
Oh, but did you ever work outside the realm of entertainment?
Oh, no.
Oh, you lucky man, you.
No.
And you've got a wonderful family. You have the sons. You're married and or how's that?
This past March, we married 60 years.
Oh, what
in a hurry.
Ken a hurry and all that kind of thing.
In Hollywood, that's a big record.
It's a wonderful thing. Now, before we go, I have a smattering of Hebrew and I sort of speak English okay. But I was wondering if you could just teach me a little something of Yiddish. Just
you want to hear something in Yiddish?
I would love it.
Was kann ich sagen auf Yiddish?
Oh, so beautiful. Tell me more.
Was kann man sagen? Probiert alles aus seinem besten Ordnung.
And what do you say?
Man darf spielen die Rolle also geht, als die ganze Kritik soll nur sein, wie man sagt, soll nur sein geht und ehrlich und schön und fein.
Ehrlich and fine. Sounds like a law firm.
Man darf können singen, man darf die Stimme, die Kehle darf man haben.
So what are you saying? Unfortunately, I do not understand. What have you been...
A voice, you gotta have the voice, the Kehle.
Oh.
And singing.
When you have the voice and the spirit and the personality, it is so wonderful to talk to you and to hear you. And upcoming, where can people see you and where are you entertaining?
Now we're doing mostly freelancing. But they're working on it, my agents and my sons, Zion and Elliot, we're working on it.
Well,
to do a project.
I only wish you so much further success after all the success you've had.
The same to you.
And it's been...
it was a joy.
A double and triple joy for me. Fyvush Finkel, bless you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my friend.